The fellas can do one of the things where you continue to do that. We'll be back in a moment tomorrow.
I told you it was a Sunday fun day, right?
Very friendly.
Revelation, how was that win? How did it feel?
Welcome in, chat.
Back in the building tomorrow, a little bit later. 7:30 football. So when you get to the building early celebration and have a very safe night getting home, rest up. We'll be back in the building tomorrow.
Rio was in here first. Solid win. A little bit concerning the ending in the second. AJ just had his best game of the season. Yesterday, really made two priority offers. Bot already wants to trade for Bamba. What is this? Bamba had a great first half. We're back to 7-7. Bamba had a spectacular first half. Well, Kevin Porter Jr., guys. He's going to be that apology. That's the best he's played. That wasn't just good for him. That was good. He easily could have had 10 assists tonight, guys. Clippers were up big and hold on late here at Into Zone over the Utah Jazz with a final of 116-105. Welcome to your post-game show. I'm Adam Osland. Coming up, we got second half highlights, your post-game box score. But first, let's get back to your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Carlos, some sweet string music early on by this Clippers team, but they were tested a little bit, pushed, only up by 7 after leading by 20 plus. The Utah Jazz made a run, and the Clippers were able to answer it late and hold on.
Yeah, I mean, Utah pushed that game within 7 in the first. It was the closest it had been since the first quarter, late in the fourth quarter. The Clippers were able to hang on. I thought they showed resiliency. I thought they showed that they're a team that can hang their hat on the defensive end despite the three-point shooting at it. I mean, how do you put this Clipper team? That didn't matter. I mean, they were still able to come away with a victory. If you can win games without knocking down threes at a high rate, that shows how versatile and effective you can be on a night-to-night basis. The Clippers not reliant on the three ball. And it was a good, fun win. I think a win they needed to get back on track at them. Another great victory here at home. They've won 4 in a row in this building with a chance to make it 5 tomorrow, but just impressive all the way around. Anytime Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, and James Harden score 20 points, I'm feeling good. The Clippers have an opportunity to come over.
Really liked the game plan of playing through Ivica Zubac a lot more, especially when they needed some big buckets late. They went to him, whether or not he was making them or passing it and swinging it around the perimeter. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. made some unbelievable passes in this ball game, being a connector out there, closing late. It wasn't Derek Jones Jr. with the starters. It was KPJ in place of him. And I thought it gave them a little bit more juice on ball. But KPJ tonight, I think this was easily his best game as a Clipper so far, as he was looking to pass first instead of looking to score first.
Yeah, part of a Clipper team that was excellent tonight. 30 assists for the Clippers. I believe they had 36 in the first 3 quarters. Porter Jr. with 6 of them on the ledger. James Harden had more. He was comfortable. He was efficient, Adam. 6 for 9 today. One of his threes was a heave at the end of the half. The other one was a heave right before the shot clock. So really, Adam, in shots that Kevin Porter took in the flow of the offense that weren't Hail Marys at the end of a shot clock or the end of a quarter, he was 6 for 8 today with 12 points, effective on the glass, and the ball moved with him. It didn't stop with him. I think that's something that Porter Jr. struggled with earlier in the year because, as James Harden mentioned, in Houston, they weren't necessarily trying to win a championship when he was there the first couple of years. They were just playing basketball, trying to improve. Well, this is a team with championship aspirations. He looked like he was more comfortable in the flow of the offense today than ever before throughout the season.
James Harden finished with 20 points on 7 of 14 shooting. An efficient night for him, but 11 assists to 0 turnovers. And, of course, making a little bit of history along the way.
Yeah, big-time 3 for James. Congratulations. Another notch on a legendary ledger of achievements for James Harden as he passes Ray Allen for second all-time in career threes made. But also, Adam just gets back to playing James Harden basketball. Like you mentioned, 11 assists, no turnovers, 20 points. He was efficient from the field. He got downhill. He found Zubac. 2 blocks, 2 steals today, 4 stocks for James Harden. That's big time. Stock up on James's defense. I love it for James Harden and for this Clipper team. They were feisty. They forced a lot of turnovers in this one, 19 for the Utah Jazz, and they played a balanced attack. Everyone who came in scored significant minutes. How about Mo Bamba? I mean, talk about a debut. He looks like he could be a game changer for that Clippers second unit, not only with his defense, but with his offense. He was eating up every rebound and came away with 9 points and 8 boards.
I think he did all of that in just the first half alone. He was special. Shot out of a cannon. Looked like a guy that hadn't played NBA basketball in a while, and that he was just chomping at the bit to get some real minutes out there. Looked good in the G League. Looked good tonight here for the Clippers in his debut. That was a heck of a debut. This is a guy who can be a very stabilizing force at the backup center spot. We talked about him a lot in the pregame show, but I know he missed a couple of 3-pointers, but the energy was very infectious out there.
It was. His ability to get downhill, to be active underneath the rim, to come away with deflections and stay tall on defense. I thought he added an extra presence at him. He just looks more experienced and more polished than Kai Jones. Kai obviously only 1 NBA season under his belt. Mo Bamba has played 5+ years in this league, and it looked that way today. He knew how to be in the right spots. He played well off of James Harden. Feels like for the Clippers, that 2-man punch of Bamba and Zubac in the pick and roll. You talked about it on Clippers Talk at YouTube, at Clippers Talk, where you better subscribe. But the pick and roll numbers for James Harden had been lower than people expected, had been lower than last season, in which the Clippers as a team were bottom 5 in the league in pick and rolls per game. Maybe Mo Bamba re-energizes the pick and roll for this Clipper team.
One more guy who I felt like had a bounce back night. Even though he was just 6 of 17 from the floor, he did knock down 4 3-pointers and had 10 of his 19 points in that first quarter. That would be Norman Powell. He looked a lot more comfortable out here tonight back at Intuit Dome.
Anytime Norm is aggressive early and is effective early, you feel like he's going to have a good game. He led the Clippers, first player in double figures with 10 in that opening quarter, finished with 19. I thought he took all the right shots, and he got up 11 threes. I know he only hit 4, but again, Norman Powell needs to shoot more threes. He is top 10 in the NBA in 3-pointers made, and he has the lowest amount of 3-pointers attempted among those top 10 guys per game. If Norman Powell's getting up 11 threes, the Clippers have a high chance to come away with a win. He was aggressive, he was effective, and he finished with 19 points, had the chance for 20 at the free throw line. Great game from Norman Powell, a super balanced attack for this Clipper team today. Chris Dunn pours in 11 as well. He knocks down 3 threes after going 1 for 7 in Houston, Adam. Big bounce back game for him. Really, everybody played well across the board, and a big tune-up game for this Clippers team, who's got a tough Golden State team, the number 1 seed out west after OKC lost to Dallas today, waiting for them tomorrow.
Clippers, second half of the back-to-back. They're taking on the Golden State Warriors, as Carlo mentioned. Right back here at Intuit Dome. Tip time for that game is at 7:30. We'll have your pregame show starting at 6:30. Carlo, my guy, great call as always. Let's do it again tomorrow, huh?
Let's do it tomorrow, Adam. Let's go.
Clippers come through with a bounce back victory. The losing streak is over. They win 116 to 105 here at Intuit Dome over the Utah Jazz. Coming up next, second half highlights right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.
Bum, bum. Thank you, Zach. Have a better night. Will I talk to you tomorrow? All right. We'll talk to you next time.
What time we go until, Zach? Yeah, he was a beast. Big shot. I like it. Do you know what time we're going till? Gotcha. Guys, we're on for another hour here. Chat. Appreciate you. Let's see. Just confirmed big Will Updike is going to come join us here post game, guys. God, I still don't have my chat working. It's so annoying. I'm just watching it on my phone right now. Doing any more work than usual, Ray? It's all good. Clippers win big back at home. They take down the Utah Jazz 116 to 105, and it wasn't even that close. Okay. The Jazz did get it to within 7 points late, but the Clippers would pull through. At the half, they led 66 to 45 over Utah. In that third quarter, oh, I loved what I saw. It was Ivica Zubac being featured over and over again. Big Zoo with 10 points in the third quarter alone. The Clippers opened things up. They added to their lead. They were up 22 heading into the fourth quarter. It was 96 to 74. But this Utah Jazz team was not giving up. Shots started to fall. Lauri Markkanen knocked down a couple of three-pointers, but Chris Dunn hit the biggest three of the ball game. Clutch three there from Chris Dunn off the pass from Kevin Porter Jr., who had just had his best game as a Clipper. Chris Dunn finished with 11. KPJ with 12 and 6 assists off the bench. Clippers win 116 to 105 in the front end of a back-to-back. Tomorrow night, they're taking on the Golden State Warriors right back here. Coming up next, we'll get your post-game box score right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Yeah, Markkanen doesn't look right now, guys. It's strange. I expected better from him. I always expect more from him. He's that good. You guys are saying it's because he got paid? I don't believe that. 0 turnover game from James Harden. So we're going till 9:30 tonight, guys, here on Clippers Talk. I can see the chat. I just can't mess with it the way I usually do. Will Updike will join us. Coming up next, we'll go over the final box score. Bro, what's going on in the game? Dear God. Yeah, guys, Mo Bamba, aggressive, assertive. Looks great out there. Yeah, I'm basically on timeout. I deserve it. Final score, your Los Angeles Clippers 116, the Utah Jazz 105 here at Into a Dome. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is your Clippers Talk post-game show, 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570 if you want to get on in the very next segment. Clippers end up shooting 49% from the field, just 11 of 40 from three. That's 28%. I'm actually encouraged by that. They still hit a timely one late. You heard that big make from Chris Dunn. Kind of was the dagger shot for the Clippers. But the most important number in the box score is 9. I'm referring to only 9 turnovers by the Clippers. It is their lowest amount on the season. Meanwhile, the Utah Jazz had 19. That's the difference of the ball game. Clippers turned that into 22 points. They led by as many as 23. It was down to 7 late. The Jazz made a run. They were not giving up, even on the second night of a back-to-back for them, as they lost a close one to the Kings last night. But the Clippers ran through the tape. Big shots late. Chris Dunn, that three-pointer. James Harden, a dunk. That put them up by 12 with 2:12 left. And the Clippers would hold on to win 116 to 105. On a night where Ivica Zubac led them in scoring. What did I tell you? Feed the beast. 22 and 11 is what he had. And I don't even think had his best game. He still missed some good looks. James Harden, 20 points, 7 of 14 shooting, 11 assists to 0 turnovers, plus 6 boards. It's a stat line no Clipper has ever had before. Thanks for letting me know that one, chat. Appreciate you. Norman Powell with 19 points, 6 of 17 shooting. And off the bench, Kevin Porter Jr., his best game as a Clipper. 12 points, 6 assists. It could have easily been 10. Guys were missing some good looks that he created for them. Love this game from Kevin Porter Jr. Was a past first player and playmaker out there. Clippers would win 116 to 105. Here at Intuit Dome tomorrow night, they're right back here taking on the Golden State Warriors. Tip-off is at 7:30, pregame at 6:30 outside of Los Angeles. We are leaving you until then. Coming up next here on AM 570 LA Sports, we got Clippers Talk. I mean, Jonathan, I agree. It would have been nice if they could have gotten the starters some rest. I couldn't pull it off. Give Utah and Jordan Clarkson, who I think had 14 points in the fourth quarter alone, credit. They did not give up. Norman Powell, by the way, asking them to review on that offensive foul that turned into a flagrant 1 by Keontae George. That might have been the dagger right there. KPJ had a Plumlee dunk. Oh, the reverse, big plum dunk. Yeah, off the feed from Big Zoo. Saw him on the back cut. That was a really good game played by Kevin Porter Jr., guys. Not just for his standard, not just it's his best game so far because he's not been playing well or it's been up and down. No. That was a legit great performance from him. The defense was good. The offense was very strong, 6 of 9 shooting. He almost had that 3 at the end of the third, but it was waved off. But it was getting the others involved, and you saw it. 2 playmakers out there to finish things off with the starting unit. Him next to James Harden, next to Chris Dunn. So really 3 playmakers. That is an interesting lineup. I'm going to be watching that even more. Yes, Jonathan, and great offensive process from Kevin Porter Jr. It kept Harden fresh. With a game coming up tomorrow, too, that's huge.
Holy crap. Good.
Clippers led by as many as 23. They hold on to win late, 116 to 105 over the Utah Jazz here at Intuit Dome. Welcome back, and welcome back to their winning ways. Your Los Angeles Clippers, after losing 3 straight, they are victorious tonight back at home. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk on AM 570 LA Sports and at Clippers Talk on the YouTube side. 866-987-2570, 866-987-2570 is the phone number if you'd like to get on. A necessary victory for the Clippers. With how tight things are in the Western Conference, the Utah Jazz are down right now. They were on a back-to-back. You have to take advantage of that. You had to find a way to win this game. Now, you would have liked the starters to get more rest, but credit Utah. They kept playing. They weren't giving up in this one. And it took the Clippers knocking down some big shots late finally to hold on and a 23-point lead. So just that cushion they had against the Utah Jazz was enough. But I thought there were some really good performances tonight. I haven't talked about Amir Coffey yet. Some of the defense he played on Jordan Clarkson was elite. The on-ball defense and just that one-on-one, staying in front of your man, taking up that challenge defense from Amir Coffey was special tonight. I know you're not going to see that in the box score. You'll just see the 7 points, 2 of 6 from the field. But Amir Coffey's defense was absolutely special tonight. And Jordan Clarkson, as always, a Clipper killer. He still got it going in the fourth quarter, as he does. I was somewhat expecting it. He just turns the flamethrower on sometimes. Jordan Clarkson is that good. He's a tough shot maker out there. But we talk about good offensive process. Ivica Zubac, playing through him more, finding him early and often. To me, that's the key to this Clippers team and the way they have to play. And they got back to it tonight. They got back to playing Clippers basketball. He had a left-handed hook to start, a dunk early on. Second quarter, a big zoo block. Then another dunk, left-handed hook shot. But that third quarter, he put in work. He had 10 points in the first half. He had 10 points in the third quarter alone of Ivica Zubac. He looked like a guy that got his groove back. In that third quarter, he had a tip in. He had a great pass to KPJ for the reverse dunk, the Plumlee dunk, as you guys in the chat called it. The lefty hook over Eubanks, dunk off a Norman Powell pass. And then late in the ball game, had a key 2 points too. Still missed 2 free throws late. Didn't like seeing that. But this Clippers team, They have to stack up wins no matter how you get them. Would you love to see them run through the tape and not have to bring their starters back in late? Yeah. They got a game coming up tomorrow. That could come back to hurt them, come back to haunt them. Starters minutes, Norman Powell was at 35. James Harden at 34. Ivica Zubac at 32. There could be some tired legs tomorrow because the backups, unfortunately, weren't able to hold on to that lead. When they went with Mo Bamba, Amir Coffey, Terrence Mann out there, Kevin Porter Jr., Nico Batum. I thought there were very good moments from the backups. I mentioned Amir Coffey and Kevin Porter Jr. Terrence Mann would eventually knock down a three, find his offense a little bit more. After I thought early on in the ball game, he just didn't look right. He's not first coming off the bench. So this is a tough role for him right now. He only ended up playing 13 minutes. He's got to take advantage of all those minutes right now. Cap Ray in the chat said the tone was set early. Harden looking to set up the table for others early. He got Norm and Derek Jones Jr. going early on, and the offense started to flow. That's the key. It was. The Jazz are also one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league right now, but they had been playing better. They're 3-3 over their last 6 heading into this ball game. They beat Dallas. They had a close one last night against the Sacramento Kings. Markkanen doesn't look quite right yet. 18 points, a couple of big threes in the fourth quarter that brought the game closer, but he just hasn't looked right so far early in the season. John Collins, just 13 points. Does everybody still want to trade for him? They're still going to give me those PJ Tucker for John Collins trades, which would never happen. I thought the Clippers' defense, for the most part, was very good. They got off to a 10-0 run to start the game, and it was through those turnovers that they were generating over and over again. In fact, in the first quarter, Utah had 9 turnovers, leading to 12 points for the Clippers. Clippers led by 10 after one, 35-25. Relentless on-ball pressure. That's what this Clippers team does best. They had to get back to that tonight. They did. You can say level of competition, but the Jazz had the 8th best offense over their last 6 games. They were shooting it better from the outside. And they had an 8-0 run to counter the Clippers' 10-0 run. So I think this Utah Jazz team is better than their record right now. And if people are going to downplay this victory, I'm going to say watch the Jazz moving forward. I think that's a team to look at. Because last season and the season before, they got off to hot starts, and then they cooled off. This season, they started 0-6, got off to a slow start, but they have been playing better. Second night of a back-to-back, not easy. And for the most part, I'm proud of the way the Clippers asserted themselves early on, looking to take control, feed off of the energy here at Intuit Dome. The wall, that had Markkanen miss a couple of free throws while he wasn't even facing the wall. Love some of the chants that were out here tonight. Clipper Nation, pat yourself on the back. It's a good win. For this Clippers team right now, you have to get victories against what people deem lesser teams right now. They still lost a game to Portland here at Intuit Dome. They still have one they need to get back. Now, they are back at 7-7. They're back at 500. But they're also on a back-to-back tomorrow. They're taking on the Golden State Warriors. We don't know the status yet of Steph Curry if he's playing in that ball game. But I like the energy and the spirit the Clippers played with defensively. The turnover game was the difference. 20 of them, make it 19, leading to 22 points for the Clippers with the Utah Jazz and those 19 turnovers. And the Clippers finally took care of the basketball. After averaging around 17 per game heading into this one, they almost cut it in half. 9 turnovers. Clippers also were better in the paint. 64 points in the paint. That's Ivica Zubac. That's what he does for you. And those are possessions that wear on the defense. When Big Zoo starts rolling and leaning on guys and getting some easy buckets to go, it is taxing for the opposition. Those can really affect you and compound on you. I love seeing Ivica Zubac being featured again. Norman Powell got off to the quick start also. 10 points in that first quarter. Finished with 19, eventually cooled off, but Powell, 3-pointer from the left wing, 3-pointer from the right wing. A couple of other buckets in that first quarter. Just The aggressiveness was back. They needed that. Norman Powell has to get back to scoring around 20 per game. And you had him, James Harden, and Ivica Zubac all off in that last game against Houston. Well, it's no wonder they lost big. But I think 21 points. It's just, this is the DNA and makeup of this Clippers team. This is who they have to be. This is how they have to play out there. Tonight it happened. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get to your phone calls at 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Clippers win 116-105 on the front end of a back-to-back here at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk on AM 570 LA Sports. Chat's asking if Big Bro's okay. Chargers ball, right?
And it
Yeah,
sucks
guys.
because I'm behind on my phone.
What?
Thank you.
Good point. Absent. Next 5 games will be challenging. Made this one that much more important. Evil Bot says he could read my mind right now. What does that mean? Mark, what do you want? They had to win the game. The starters had to play. It was a 7-point game down the stretch. Shouldn't have been, but it was. What are you going to do about it? It was 110-103 after Jordan Clarkson hit a 3-pointer at the 3:18 mark. 7-point game. Good point, Mark. At least they don't have to travel anywhere. That Chris Dunn 3 was huge. And KPJ with the assist. KPJ's passing tonight was just brilliant, guys. KPJ bending the defense, drawing 2 defenders, finding Chris Dunn for that 3-pointer. Big shot. Big play made by KPJ. I'm telling you, he easily could have had 10 assists. Guys were missing open shots that he was creating. Clippers win 116-105. Here at Intuit Dome. Long Beach's own Judo Dojo on the way in. The title of this one is Adios Emilio. Adios to the Utah Jazz. Not easy. Second night of a back-to-back. Clippers led by as many as 23. But it was a 7-point game with about 3 minutes left. Biggest shot of the game, was just talking about it off air to the chat at Clippers Talk on YouTube, but that Chris Dunn 3-pointer, we played it for you. And that was all created by Kevin Porter Jr., who was in pass first mode tonight against the Utah Jazz. This is the best game he has played, all around game. Scoring wise, an efficient 12 points, 6 of 9 shooting. Almost had that 3 at the end of the third quarter that was waved off eventually. But to me, it's what he was doing passing the basketball. 6 assists to 1 turnover, finding others, making his teammates better. And that passing was infectious throughout the night for this Clippers team. They had 30 assists to 9 turnovers. Better than a 3-to-1 ratio. Impressive. After Carlo Jimenez alerted me that Clippers only had 12 assists last game, that was their lowest amount of assists in 2 years. They bounced back in a big way. They cleaned up a lot of the stuff that they needed to. I'm proud of him. Now, it would have been nice to run through the tape, put this game away, and the starters not even have to play in the fourth quarter. That could prove to be problematic tomorrow, right back here against the Golden State Warriors. Those tired legs are going to catch up to you. But what was Coach Lue supposed to do? It was a ball game they had to win. All of these games against quote-unquote lesser competition they have to have this season. So the starters come back in. They find a way late, get a couple of stops after a scorching hot Jordan Clarkson. I called him a Clipper killer in the intro earlier. And he started to get off shooting-wise in that fourth quarter, where he ended up with 16 points in the fourth. Jordan Clarkson, I shorted him earlier, saying it was only 14. No, it was 16 points for Jordan Clarkson in the final period. I thought Amir Coffey played some dazzling defense against him, locked him up a few different possessions in this game, but he also fouled him on a three-pointer after some really good defense early in the fourth quarter, fighting through screens. Amir Coffey is not a guy who is looking to lose minutes. There's a minutes crunch. There's a lot of guys fighting for minutes. Amir Coffey is trying to make sure he's getting consistent minutes out there. You can see that with his play. Now, a guy I haven't really talked about yet here on Clippers Talk, Mo Bamba. His debut. Incredible. Mo Bamba in the first half was shot out of a cannon. He starts things off. His first points as a Clipper, a dunk off a great feed from who else? Kevin Porter Jr. Then there was a goaltend that went against Utah. So he had 4 points in the first minute and a half, I think, out there on the court. Second quarter, Mo Bamba and one off a pass from Kevin Porter Jr. Then some great defense near the end of the first half with a steal. Was playing to his size, was playing big out there. And at the half, Mo Bamba, listen to this. Mo Bamba at the half, in 10 minutes, had 9 points and 8 boards, 4 of 8 shooting. Missed a couple of three-pointers. That's basically what he finished with. Wasn't as maybe the wind caught up with him, the lack of cardio, the lack of reps at this level caught up with him. He didn't look as spry in the second half. But this is big for this Clippers team. If you can just have a consistent, reliable, stabilizing force at the backup center position, that's huge. That's something I think a motivated Mo Bamba could give you. I know he has been consistently inconsistent, and there's a lack of motor that has contributed to him now just being on a veteran's minimum. But with Jeff Van Gundy coaching him up, with Ty Lue, I think they might be able to get more out of Mo Bamba. I am hoping. Cap Ross said Harden even had a dunk. Yeah, it was a big one, too, to put him up 12 late after the lead was down to 7. But this is exactly what I wanted to see from Mo Bamba. Just play with more energy, more spirit. Sometimes getting in the right situation, that change of scenery can change everything for a player. He's still only 26. He's not a fully finished product. If you can get him to play harder at a higher consistency level, then you're getting a better player. As for what it means for Kai Jones, it's likely what we thought coming into the season. When Mo Bamba's back, he's the backup center. He's a much more proven player in this league. Kai Jones will likely be getting reps in the G League soon, as long as Mo Bamba stays healthy. But with the Clippers' next 5 games being very difficult, starting tomorrow against Golden State, then Orlando, then Sacramento, then Philly, then Boston, both of those last 2 on the road, this was as close as you can get to an early season must win, at least in the month of November. Honestly, you have to get this one. You want to finish somewhere 6 through 10 in the West, this is a necessary victory. And they still have one they need to get back. That loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. I haven't forgotten that. They still got to make up for that somewhere. A win against Golden State tomorrow, That would give them 2 wins against the Warriors, who are playing like the best team in the West. That would go a long way to making up for that loss to Portland. Himothy says, we are going to play the Warriors and Magic the next 2 games. Both teams are top 5 defenses, so that's a good way to judge him, Mo Bamba. Melvin Powell Jr. said Mo Bamba is legit. Again, it's 1 game, but it's a great start. Mo Bamba has it in him to be better in this league if he's just more consistent, period. That's all it takes. And tonight, great effort. That first half, the crowd was behind him. Everybody was into his play. He was electric. But I know his rap sheet. I know his reputation, I should say, and how fans feel about him in past cities he has played in. As soon as I said Mo Bamba playing with a high motor right now, I said the exact tweet was, this is what I'm talking about. When Bamba plays with a motor out there, he can be better than Plumlee was last season, which is all I'm asking from him. Be better than Plumlee was last season. And Betsy Chase Money on X said, quote, when he plays with a motor, unquote, is a very important qualifier because it's not often. That has been the knock on Mo Bamba. Can the Clippers get more out of him? Can they get a more energized Mo Bamba? That's it. The skill set is high. I know he missed a couple of looks from 3 badly tonight, but I'm still counting on that because he's taken over 700 in his career, and he's a 36% shooter from the outside. And it was at least good to see because I'm guessing the coaching staff said, yeah, that's what you do. So take him. If he can help spread the floor, stretch the floor at all with the second unit, that would be big because that opens up driving lanes. If the backup big guarding him has to come out and D him up on the perimeter, that opens up the paint more. He also was rolling to the basket nicely. Guys were finding him. Kevin Porter Jr., James Harden. So I have high hopes for Mo Bamba in having his best stint in this league as a member of the Clippers. Melvin Powell Jr. said, you made a great point. Mo Bamba is going to benefit from playing for Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy. Fire emoji. Jonathan Ing pointed out that Harden was able to get to the paint more than usual. Saw that tonight. And once again, congratulations to James Harden. 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Zach O'Caldy, maybe we could pull up the call from Carlo Jimenez here as James Harden made some history tonight from distance. This happened early on in the ball game. Here's James Harden. Oh, I tried to be too quick with it. That's my bad, Zach. I sprung it on him. I don't even know if he's at the keyboard right now. Zach will let me know when he has the call. James Harden, though, now second all-time in three-pointers made in NBA history as he passed up Ray Allen tonight. He just needed to hit one, and it came early on. I think it was the second three-pointer he took. James Harden, special with the three ball because this is somebody who, the majority of his threes are self-created. He's not a catch and shoot guy. He's an off the bounce guy. Those threes are tougher. You're going to shoot a lower percentage on those typically. And it speaks to his longevity and skill set and the work he has put in and the professionalism to get to this point where he's second all time now in NBA history in made threes. Only behind who else but Steph Curry, who I'm looking for an update on. Chat, if you got one for me with Steph Curry on if he'll be playing tomorrow, I would love to hear it because obviously that is quite a factor in a game against the Golden State Warriors, whether or not Steph Curry plays. Now, the Clippers took him down in just their third game of the season up north at Chase Center in San Francisco. That was the second night of a back-to-back. They won in Denver the day before. Again, they're playing them the second night of a back-to-back. And Steph Curry left that game. Clippers were up by, I think, 9 when he left in the fourth quarter. I don't think it would have made a difference. I mean, it could have. It's Steph Curry, but he wasn't playing great. The Clippers were on one, and they got that victory. And that's the only team, I believe, that has won up at Chase Center, your Los Angeles Clippers. So whether it was a one-off or they match up well against Golden State because they have so many good on-ball defenders, you got to feel like, okay, maybe a back-to-back, but we've seen this happen before where they take down Golden State anyways. Who's going to be at the rest advantage? The beard is a legend. Preach here on the chat. We got Ray doing a little bit of research for us, checking Hoops Hype right now. Melvin Powell Jr. said, man, I can't wait until Kawhi Leonard returns. The Clippers are going to be really tough. Whose minutes are he going to cut into with Coffee, Batum, or Derek Jones Jr.'s? Well, right off the bat, Chris Dunn will likely be the guy who's out of the starting lineup. I'm going to guess they keep Derek Jones Jr. in there at the 3 with Kawhi at the 4. So you could say Chris Dunn will lose out on some minutes, I think. Jeremy Mormon said, Curry knee is listed as questionable for Monday's game. Thank you, Ray. He had it as well. James Harden, historic night. Cool to see that in person. This is somebody that I don't think anybody had foreseen this coming out of Arizona State. A SoCal guy to end up being second all time in three-pointers made. Is anybody ever going to catch Steph? Probably not. But James Harden does it a little bit differently. Steph does a lot off the bounce too, but more catch and shoot stuff than James Harden at least. I mean, the step back 3 is lethal. It's changed the game. The way guys play. You see Luka Doncic now. That system basketball where James Harden has always been great at elevating the floor for teams during the regular season and getting them far more victories than I think most would believe they'd be able to get to. Just elevating guys around him. People are talking about Buddy Hield has been hot. So even without Steph, it'll be tough, says Cap Ray. We Roland said we need a Harden Curry jersey swap for most threes ever. That would be cool. I like that. Ray said Om Youngmisuk reported that Steph Curry is listed as questionable with left knee bursitis against the Clippers for Monday's game. So Om Youngmisuk, who has been on the show here on Clippers Talk. M7MD Boys said won a 6-man of the year, and then 12 years later, he is second all-time in threes. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he was the third and fourth option at times in OKC. Then he starts running his own team in Houston to great success. I know they never won it at all, but probably only because they ran into the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. When they were at their best, they ran into the ultimate super team. Absent said, Man is only playing 13 minutes, so he'll be pushed out of the rotation when Kawhi comes back. Man is the last guy off the bench. I don't think Man is just going to completely fall out of the rotation, guys. He's just got a contract extension. If you're saying trade Man, well, I mean, if he's not even playing, that's going to crush his trade value. Yeah, Terrence Mann needs to be better. I've been disappointed with his play so far this season. I did like the fact that after missing a three-pointer in the second quarter, he came back with a little fadeaway, got that to go, and then in the second half, knocked down a 3. I think it was it early fourth quarter? Yeah. 3 in the far side corner. Bamba also found Man out of a timeout for an easy one. That was good to see. Mo Bamba passing. Malcolm Maxwell says at Clippers Talk, Zoo had a nice bounce back game today. Clippers will be fine with their defense and passing the ball more like tonight. 30 assists to 9 turnovers. Unreal. Yeah, Tom Van Dyke points out how Zoo still had to play 32 minutes, but Bamba filling in for 15 was huge. I think Tom Van Dyke told me Zubac's sweet spot is 26 minutes. I disagree. 30 plus minutes per game this season. They need him. He's too crucial for this team right now. Without Kawhi, it's not just about Zoo's defense. He has to be a staple on the offensive end. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from big Will Updike next from Clips and Dip. I'm Adam Osland, live from Intuit Dome. Clippers come through and bounce back. Much needed victory over the Golden State Warriors. Excuse me. That's future victory tomorrow. Tonight over the Utah Jazz. They'll be taking on the Golden State Warriors tomorrow, right back here at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports. All right. Are you doing both? Wow. Do you have Will Updike's number? Thanks, man. Yeah, guys. T-Man, there are multiple guys that have been doing what he does, but better so far this season. Got to be honest about that. Himothy still won Miller minutes. I mean, I don't think he was going to get into a tight game like this after Coach Lou went back to the starters plus KPJ in for Derrick Jones Jr. Terrence, man, I'm telling the problem with his offense is he hasn't developed much of a handle. He can't create for himself much. That's where he struggles. Now, he still needs to take far more catch and shoot threes and get downhill and be confident at the rim, because the last 2 seasons he's finished top 3 in field goal percentage at the rim for guards. So it is surprising that he has struggled this much. I expect him to turn it around. Tom Van Dyke doesn't realize Zoo's sweet spot before this season doesn't mean anything. He's in a different situation now, Tom. He has a completely different role than he had in past seasons. So what happened in past seasons is irrelevant. What they need from Ivica Zubac now is different. They need more. Clippers win by a final score of 116 to 105 here at Intuit Dome over the Utah Jazz. The losing streak is over. They're back to 500 at 7-7. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Talk. Whether you're listening on AM 570 LA Sports or on the YouTube side at Clippers Talk, appreciate you guys. Chat. We'll get back to you here in a second. But now, join the show is big Will Updike from Clips and Dip fame. Will, it's a win. Thanks for coming on. Agree with that. More from Will Updike in just a moment, but let's pause 10 seconds first for station identification here on AM 570 LA Sports. Well, let's start with this historic night from James Harden. He becomes second all-time on made three-pointers in NBA history, passed Ray Allen by about the 6-minute mark of the first quarter is when he made the historic shot. Just speak to James Harden and who he's become in this league. And, I mean, he's revolutionized things in some ways. Nobody else was doing the crazy step-back, crab dribble stuff before James Harden, and now second all-time in made threes. I talked about it a lot the last couple of days, but felt like they needed to get back to playing through Avisa Zubac much more than they had. Some of that is on him, not being aggressive enough, not asking for the basketball enough, and the great defenses they played against Houston and against the OKC Thunder. But tonight it felt like more of the blueprint for how this Clippers team needs to play on the offensive end to me, Will. Off the bench, I felt like not even relative to our expectations or how he has played so far this season, but I think Kevin Porter Jr. just had a legit, very good basketball game in all facets. And it started with him looking to pass first, and it opened up a lot of shots for guys. He ended up with 6 assists. I must have counted 4 or 5 3-pointers that he created that guys missed out there. I thought it was his best game so far as a Clipper easily. Hmm. That's a good point. The scouting report says he's putting it up every time, so guys load up on him, and then he's finding the open man. At least he did tonight. I liked seeing that. It felt like things were maybe slowing down for him. Just the intent, the process was much better from Kevin Porter Jr. James Harden, 11 assists, by the way, to 0 turnovers. The stat line he put up, I guess no Clipper had ever put up before: 7 of 14 from the field, 20 points, 11 assists, 0 turnovers, plus 6 boards was special. But the Clippers overall ended up with 30 assists to just 9 turnovers. When they take care of the basketball, Will, with the way they can create turnovers on the other end, it makes this team much more difficult to play against. And they got up 15 more shots than the Utah Jazz in this one, who ended up with 19 turnovers. Clippers also had 14 offensive rebounds to 9 for the Utah Jazz. A guy who had 3 of those offensive rebounds. Now, I think all 3 were off of his own misses, but Mo Bamba looked good tonight in his first time in a Clippers jersey. What were your first impressions of him, Will? He is big Will Updike from Clips and Dip. Will, I hope to be talking to you tomorrow night as well. Thanks for doing this here on Clipper Stock. Quick timeout here, then we'll come back. Clippers win 116 to 105 over the Utah Jazz here at Intuit Dome. Clippers back to 500. They're at 7-7. Let Will Updike know on Twitter. You heard him on Clippers Talk. Thought there was some great analysis there. Yeah, teams expecting Kevin Porter Jr. to take all those shots, which means, you load up against him. He finds that open man, and he did so often tonight, finishing with 6 assists, his most complete game, as Will Updike said, as a Clipper so far. Clippers win 116 to 105 over the Jazz. More Clippers talk next here on AM 570 LA Sports. It's cool. I'll just go the rest of the way. What time you gonna play music at? So out at 45? Copy. You can't ask to be on the air, guys, and then try to get saved by commercial breaks. This is the way. So we'll have you when we come back here for the next 25 minutes or so straight chat. If anybody in the chat would like to call in, instead of just staying there where it's safe, where you get to stay in the echo chamber. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Harden got the game ball. That's cool. Expected it. Happy for James. You wonder what this could do for his three-point shooting moving forward. Will Updike brought this up, but, that monkey off his back, that 800-pound gorilla, the pressure mounting to pass Ray Allen, is he a little bit more free from beyond the arc now? By the way, Law Murray says James Harden, 11 assists to 0 turnovers. It's the 8th time in his career with 10-plus assists without a turnover. First time this season. He's done it more times as a Clipper than any other team. That's kind of shocking. Clippers are victorious back home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. They win 116 to 105 here at the Intuit Dome. Clipper Nation, you showed up in a big way again tonight. You got Markkanen to miss 2 free throws away from the wall, but I'm sure he still heard it. It's that loud here. I love it. God bless Steve Ballmer and Clipper Nation for embracing their new and really first home here at Intuit Dome. Clippers respond. 116 points they put up tonight while having an off night from distance. They shot just 28% from 3. They were just under 38% from 3 heading into this one. So we'll see. I think they're around a 36, 37% three-point shooting team. Now, if Kawhi comes back sooner than later, then I'm saying, 38, 39%, because he is very efficient from the outside too. Norman Powell, 4 of 11 from 3, really started to cook early in that first quarter as the Clippers got back to basics. Feed Big Zoo, get Norman Powell rolling to his right. He had a 3 off a steal on John Collins. Then he got a 3 off a Dunn steal, who then found Norman Powell. Then he had a nice 16-footer. I make it 18 feet straight away as he turned down a three-pointer as the defense was playing him up close, went around a defender, then just got a long 2 to go. There was another three-pointer made in the second quarter by Norman Powell where Ivica Zubac screened Colin Sexton completely out of the picture. He was on his backside, and Norm knocked down the three-pointer. Third quarter, Norman Powell got up for an alley-oop from James Harden, one of his 11 assists, and boy, did he get up. Used two hands for that alley-oop. Carlo Jimenez, I think, brought up how he was in a dunk contest back in high school. Norman Powell has hops at 31 still. He has bounce. So I'm wondering a couple of things here. People are talking about this in the chat now at Clippers Talk, saying, yeah, Harden still shot 25% from the three-point line tonight. He did. He started, 1 for 2, and that one make in the first quarter got him above Ray Allen for second most threes made all time, but still was 2 for 8. Is it legs? What is it? Now, I can't recall what he shot in that second quarter, but I will calculate it during the break because it's basically, guys, the second quarters that have been tanking his field goal percentage and three-point percentage. It is 6.5 minutes that he is averaging playing in second quarters that is careening his percentages. He came into this game 8 of 46 from the field in second quarters. If you take out second quarters, he's shooting 45% from the field and 35% from three on the season. Basically his career averages. So I'm just wondering if he figures things out in that second quarter, whatever it is, and the starters got back in late in the second quarter because the backups were making such a good run, maybe a rotation pattern changes with him not playing as much in the first quarter. So he's sitting for far less time, and that helps him in second quarters. I don't know what it is, but it is strange to see one quarter tank a guy's efficiency. Like, it's that simple. Saw this post from La Murray saying Zoo back on track with 33 minutes played. Mo Bamba debuted with his 15 points. New second unit intact. Yeah, that second unit, I think there were a couple different iterations we saw, but there was one to start, I think, the second quarter that had Mo Bamba in for Ivica Zubac. Let's see if I can find this. So it was Nico Batum, Terrence Mann, Mo Bamba. Who else was in? Was Chris Dunn in that second unit? Amir Coffey. And I think KPJ were the guys out there. So it's really interesting to see how things develop here as Coach Lue now has a ton of different rotations and lineups he can go to just by having a different backup center and by having Chris Dunn in the starting lineup. This was just his third game, the first win they have gotten since they put him into the starting lineup. Not that I'm saying they lost those games in Houston because of Chris Dunn. I don't think that was the case at all. But as things evolve here, and this was just game 14, we're going to see different lineups and rotations than we thought coming into this season. Things are materializing. And you got to shout out Coach Lue, guys, for sticking with Kevin Porter Jr. for this long, as he just had his best game as a Clipper. His most complete game as a Clipper, as Will Updike put it. That's big. His confidence has stayed high enough as he has stayed in the rotation, and they've given him all this time to try to figure it out, to see where he's at as a player after missing an entire year. So, Kevin Porter Jr. tonight, it looked like the game was slowing down for him. It looked like, for the first time, and there have been moments and flashes of this play in him over the last week or so, but tonight you could really say he was a pass first guard out there, a pass first guard, looking to get others involved first, trying to make the others better, elevating guys around him. Capra said KPJ hopefully becomes that legitimate secondary playmaker so Harden can get some in-game rest like tonight to be fresh for the clutch period. Here's the thing. His shooting percentages in the fourth quarter have been fine. He was shooting 54% from the field in fourth quarters. His assist to turnover ratio, though, was not. Clippers only had 3 turnovers, though, total in the first half. So just 6 in the second half. You'll take that. If you keep it around 12 turnovers or less per game, you're in business. It's going to be tough to beat this team because they're likely, with their defensive prowess, turning you over. You win the turnover battle, you win the possession battle. And again, they were cleaning the glass too. It was 41-41 on the glass, but the Clippers had 4 more offensive rebounds than Utah. Just a lot of good signs that they're getting back to playing Clippers basketball. Now, if you want to say it's just because of the Jazz, don't get too high on this win. It's the Utah Jazz. I can understand that to a point. But I think with the Clippers, they still have to build on those good habits and those Clippers basketball habits, meaning James Harden and Ivica Zubac working in tandem, them finding Big Zoo early and often. That third quarter where he scored 10 points and they were just featuring him over and over again, that's Clippers basketball now. It has to be. They got away from it in Houston. It is not an option, I will say it again, to get Ivica Zubac involved anymore. It is necessary. And you saw it happen tonight. James Harden, obviously the engine of the offense. High assist total after having, I think, just 2 last game against the Rockets. 11 assists, 0 turnovers. Now, the 0 turnovers aren't always going to be there. But 10-plus assists or around 10 assists per ball game, that's Clippers basketball. Norman Powell, putting him up from distance. Carlo Jimenez brought it up pregame, but this is somebody that could take a few more three-pointers considering how efficient he has been over the years from there. And he got up 11 tonight. Hit 4 of them. I like seeing that number. He got up 17 shots total. He matched Ivica Zubac. They both got up 17. And then Chris Dunn just taking a little bit of that pressure off the playmaking duties of James Harden as well, now in the starting lineup. And I thought he had another really good game. And Chris Dunn rarely has a bad game. He had that steal and then got it to Norm for a 3-pointer in the first. Then he had a 3 in the far side corner. And then he had a steal and score to start the third quarter. And a left wing 3 in the third. And then maybe the biggest shot of the ball game, after the lead was down to 7, it was Chris Dunn. 3 of 6 from distance, 11 points, 4 assists, also 0 turnovers. It's a great ball game. 25 minutes. Might have to play more tomorrow. We'll see. It could be Jordan Miller time tomorrow. I don't know. Because a lot of the starters ended up at plus 30 minutes because the Utah Jazz, well, they would not give up late. Credit to them. And you look at the guys that went over 30. Norman Powell at 35 minutes. Ivica Zubac at 33. James Harden at 34. It's troublesome. What happens in one game can affect another. Yeah, as many good things as we have talked about, it's still disappointing they weren't able to close it out without the starters having to come back in. I think that's understandable. There's criticism to be had even in a victory. Because if there's tired legs tomorrow against the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry's questionable, but it's going to be because of what happened late in this game and letting a 23-point lead get cut down to 7 with 3 minutes left. So they still need to close better. That's been a consistent theme so far this season. Clippers win 116-105 over the Utah Jazz. I think we got our last time out here. We'll come back. We'll close things out here at Into a Dome after the Clippers get back to their winning ways and they're taking on Golden State tomorrow. We'll talk about that matchup coming up next here on Clippers Talk on AM 570 LA Sports and on the YouTube side. Capra said Zoo had some clutch offensive rebounds. So what's up, Zach? We're still getting out at 45? Cool. Yeah, the rebounds and assists, Rock. You're right about that. Kevin Porter Jr. started rebounding the ball much better over the last week and a half or so. That's been important. Capra saying KPJ catching up with the NBA pace. I'm down to hear from Coach Lou postgame. How long is it? Maybe not that much. You know what? I'll save it. It's all good. Well, what are the players' times? It's fine. I'll do it later for Clippers talk. Only because I know the chat would want to hear it too, and they can't hear the stuff. I appreciate it. Clutch offensive rebounds from Zulate. Clutch challenge called for by Norman Powell on that flagrant one on Keontae George. That was big. I'm trying to see the time on some of those Zubac's offensive rebounds. Those missed free throws. Still didn't like seeing that. Zoo had a nice kick out of a timeout. I don't think it amounted to anything, but it was just good to see him pass and make that pass. I think KPJ is the much higher ceiling with facilitating, but Dunn's the more stable passer out there. Tonight showed a little something what KPJ can do. Yeah, Zubac isn't a rim protector. He just finished best in the league last season in rim protection. King Liddell. Some of y'all cannot be helped. He literally finished as the best rim protector in the league last season and finishes top 5 every year. There's actual data on this that takes a little more importance over your eye test. Can you guys correct King Liddell here? Help him out. He's in the struggle. Bad. Zoo gets 22 and 11, and the haters can't help themselves still. Bad form. Says more about you. Amir Coffee, guys, again. Those defensive plays. Amir Coffee on Jordan Clarkson was awesome. Clippers win 116 to 105 here at Intuit Dome against the Utah Jazz and improve to 7-7 on the season. This was the front end of a back-to-back. They'll be taking on the Golden State Warriors tomorrow, right back here at Intuit Dome. Will Steph Curry play? Knee bursitis, which I think is some form of swelling. He's questionable. Either way, huge ball game. If he's not available, obviously, the Clippers got to find a way. I know they have played well without Steph Curry, though, so far this season, but the Clippers beat them up in San Francisco. They're not going to forget that either. Steve Kerr and that 12-man lineup he goes to, the 12-man rotation, I should say. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Talk here on AM 570 LA Sports and at Clippers Talk on YouTube. So I felt like that third quarter, the Clippers let their foot off the gas just a little bit at times defensively. It wasn't the same intensity we saw in the first quarter. Carlo Jimenez and I both felt like, they're getting a little bit lackadaisical on the defensive end. They look like a team that knows they have a 20-point lead. Now, this happens, human nature, but they still led by 22. They opened up the lead by 22 heading into the fourth. So what happened in that fourth quarter to lead to the comeback to where it was down to 7 with 3 minutes left? Well, here's who was on the floor for the Clippers starting off the fourth. Man Bamba, Amir Coffey. Who else do we have here? Kevin Porter Jr. I want to say, was Nico out there? Yeah, Nico Batum. And things started off okay. It was 104 to 85. It's still a 19-point lead at the 8:30 mark. The Clippers were fine. They were treading water. In some ways, you can say the starters were not good enough. Now, what people make a mistake of doing when they look at plus minus stuff is saying, oh, well, the backup unit, look at how much they won their minutes by. Well, the backup unit is going up against the other team's backup unit. The starters are going up against the other team's first unit. That's the difference. So the Clippers are up by 16 still when Norm, James Harden, and Ivica Zubac get back into the ball game. They didn't do a good enough job closing. Some of it was some hot shooting, but there was a bad turnover by Ivica Zubac, who didn't hold the ball high when the double came in the key. I didn't like seeing that. There was a steal by Jordan Clarkson there. That's just sloppy play. You have to be better than that. And now it's 108-97 the next timeout, where Chris Dunn would come back in for Nico Batum, who is low-key in a very, light struggle, at least a struggle for his standards. Nico Batum is fantastic and rarely ever loses his minutes or rarely ever is a negative out there. But they brought back in Chris Dunn. So it was starters with KPJ in for Derrick Jones Jr. They eventually closed things out, but it would be just an 8-point lead after the Lauri Markkanen three-pointer at the 4-minute mark. KPJ made a layup on the other end. A tough layup, by the way. Guys, that KPJ layup at the 341 mark where he levitated in the air for that long, that was kind of nuts, showing off the athleticism there. That was go get a bucket. Somebody get a bucket. We're not getting anything easy right now. Ivica Zubac just missed a couple of free throws. Somebody create for themselves. And Kevin Porter Jr. got him back up 10 with just flying through the lane. But Utah wasn't going away, and Jordan Clarkson had 16 points in the fourth quarter and knocked down a 3 on the other end, so it's that 7-point game. So I would say the biggest shot of the game came from Chris Dunn, who missed a three-pointer on a possession, but the Clippers got to stop. Keontae George would miss a three-pointer, so still a 7-point game. And then at the 2:31 mark, off that Kevin Porter Jr. assist after he sucked in the defense as he got the attention drawn his way, then he found Kevin Porter Jr. for that three-pointer. I think it was far side corner. Collier missed a driving layup. Clippers got in transition. Harden makes a dunk. I think just his second of the season. It's 115-103 with 2 minutes left. That was all she wrote. And all that jazz, you could say. Yada, yada, yada. The game was over. Clippers win 116-105. I don't know. Is it good to be tested with this a little bit of adversity late? I think you learn more in those tough moments than just in blowout victories. But in this particular case, when you got the Warriors coming in tomorrow, yeah, I would love to get greedy, pour it on, and have this just be a blowout victory where the starters didn't have to come back in late in the game. That would have been nice. Rock said, so do we still talk about the Jordan Miller era or just wait it out and see what happens? I don't know if there was a perfect time for Jordan Miller tonight. I think he was going to get minutes if the Clippers had held on to a 20-plus point lead heading into the fourth quarter. That's what hurt Jordan Miller tonight. I wouldn't be shocked, though, to see him at all tomorrow against Golden State. But again, Kevin Porter Jr. is playing this well. How do you find minutes? To me, they come from Batum, Amir Coffey, Terrence Mann, all those guys having some minutes shaved off, and therefore you make room for Jordan Miller, but it is not an easy thing to do. Who's the Clips MVP candidate so far? Jay Felix. Oh, you're talking about Ivica Zubac. Oh, G Felix is a Laker fan in the chat here at Clippers Talk on the YouTube side who's still upset about Magic Johnson with that assist to the Clippers. Oh, it was the best assist, in my opinion, with handing them Ivica Zubac for Mike Muscala, Clippers legend who never played a game. Yeah, that was a fleecing. Rock said, I think the vets are more so locked in, Man and Batum, but I would love a stretch just to see how Miller and Kobe Brown look with a chance. I get it. There are ways to get Jordan Miller some minutes here and there. We just saw it the last 2 games. Now, some of that is because Clippers were down big in Houston. That's not necessarily how we want to see the young guys implemented. Clippers are down 20. Let's try something else. Or it looks like they're waving the white flag sometimes. But Jordan Miller came into that game when it was still relatively close Wednesday in Houston, and the young guys made a dent and had it to within 4 with a minute and a half left and gave a really good effort. Stump said the Clippers relaxing in the fourth quarter because up 20 points is a bad habit, but I can understand minutes for third stringers, but they should wait until 5 minutes left. I think they were coming if the Clippers held on to the lead. Nate G said more offense off the bench is the reason why I think Ty should play Miller over Batum or T-Man eventually. I could see it happening. I could see Batum getting a little bit of a, I don't know, just a rest period, a little 2-week rest period where he's playing less minutes because he just hasn't looked as Batumish the last 3 games or so. He played 18 minutes tonight. What if Jordan Miller is playing those 18 minutes instead? Because I have no worry about Batum coming back and maybe looking fresher after playing all those minutes in the Olympics for France, but coming back and just looking like himself. He's a vet. He's turning 36 in December. Like, he's not going to lose a rhythm. He's going to stay ready. If Batum misses some time to implement a young guy, he's also going to be rooting for that young guy and helping him. And then when they need him, and they will, because Batum is an all-world role player, like in NBA history. He is one of the best I've ever seen. He just rarely makes a mistake. He'll hit the ground running when he comes back. People asking what KPJ's ceiling is. Ceiling. We talk about him being a poor man's James Harden at times. That's no disrespect. James Harden is the second best three-point shooter of all time, or at least has the second most made threes now, and is a top 75 player ever, Hall of Famer. Like, he has some of that to his game where he can control an offense, but he needs to be smarter about it and balance when to look for his own shot and when to get others involved. And tonight, he was spectacular in that area. Can he build off of it? Can he do it again tomorrow? KPJ got to close out this game for a reason. I love the way Coach Lou has been using his rotations. Who's hot tonight? Who's playing the best? You're going to close. That simple. I don't think Coach Lou has got nearly enough credit for the way he has managed games so far this year. The way he has taken those sense of urgency timeouts when he doesn't like something and they don't get back in transition like we saw in the fourth. I think he's been damn near perfect with pushing the right button at the right time. But KPJ, he's been far from perfect so far this season, but this is the best game he's played in a Clippers uniform, and I'm hoping this is the start of something because little by little, he's been looking a little bit better and better. Tonight, he really put it all together in his most complete performance so far. That was really encouraging, guys. Ray said, side note, can we never play the Cavs this season? They're 15-0. Shout out Bob Schmidt, his Cavaliers. Yeah, they refuse to lose. We roll and said, yeah, can we drug test the whole Cavs franchise? There's no way. I thought they'd be good this year. I didn't expect this. I did not expect this. What's the record for longest win streak to start a season? Do they have it? Or is that like the Lakers team that won 33 straight back in the day? I don't know. But the Cavs, yeah. Clippers are probably lucky they don't have to play them, I think, till like March. Maybe they'll cool off by then. Clippers win tonight. Let's see if they can stay hot. They got a game coming up tomorrow, but they win 116 to 105 over the Utah Jazz here at Intuit Dome. Tomorrow they'll be facing the okay, Big Brother Jake just gave me this. Guess who they're facing? The Golden State Warriors, who I should have guessed have the longest winning streak to begin a season at 24 straight wins. That was during their 73-game win season in the 15-16 year. Big Brother Jake with the number. Thank you, big bro. I think it was a good night for you, right? Great night. Great night. Okay, Chargers won. Clippers win. We're back tomorrow, 6:30 pregame. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization, Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Eagle, Carlo Jimenez on the call, Zach O'Caldy, our producer back in the bank, our head engineer here at Intuit Dome. That would be Big Brother Jake Warner. Coming up next, we got Chargers talk with the hardest working man in sports radio, Isaac Lowenkron. I'm Adam Osland. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, brother.
Exact.
Have a good night, man.